Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins 0. In the last episode, Rintaro Okabe was pushed to his mental limits concerning Amadeus Kurisu, and had ultimately decided to stop being a tester, much to the slight disappointment of Dr. Leskinen. However, sometime after, he learned more about the situation concerning Kurisu's mother in America from Maho and the sense that there may yet be another conspiracy afoot, this time concerning the Nakabachi paper.
そんなはずないだろう。
Unfortunately, I think that things are only going to get more stranger from here on out. Not to mention the fact that the Brain Science Institute was investigated by some people claiming to be with the Japanese police, only for the actual Japanese police to say that no such people belong to the police.
そう。変なこと言って悪かったわ。私、クリスのことになるとついムキになってしまうの。彼女のこと本当に好きだったのね。
Also, Maho really wants to get to the bottom of the situation behind Kurisu's death. Unfortunately for Rintaro, this will be entirely detrimental to his future career at Victor Condria University should she find out. Not that he doesn't actually want to deny the truth or anything, but unfortunately he is the one who took Kurisu's life inadvertently when he was trying to deal with her insane father, Dr. Nakabachi, the man who is unfortunately at the center of this conspiracy.
あいつは本当にいいやつだったし、本当にすごいやつだった。俺も好きだったよ。
And unfortunately, as a consequence of that, Rintaro was drawing ever closer to the avatar of Amadeus Kurisu.
ええ。あなたのことを見ていればわかるわ。
Which is a very dangerous thing. Because not only is he, does he run the risk of curtailing his mental fortitude once again, but he is blurring the lines between reality and unreality, because Amadeus Kurisu is a digital recreation of Kurisu Makase. She is not actually Kurisu herself. And yet, Amadeus Kurisu is essentially self-aware. So it's very hard not to think of Amadeus Kurisu as a person. A heavy silence filled the air between us. I felt like I had to say something, but fortunately Dr. Leskinen came back just then. That's good to know.
二人ともよかったらこれから食事でもどうかな?
And he's back with food. Dinner sounds absolutely perfect, Leskinen. Maho and I nod and stood up from the sofa. It's a nice change of pace from the conversation that we are having, not that we should ignore said conversation.
岡部さん、またこちらでのクリスの話を聞かせてくれる？
I suppose Rintaro will have to say something about Kurisu, even if those experiences were from the Alpha world line and not the Beta world line.
ああいつでも
I was just barely able to smile back at Maho. Well, you made a promise now, Rintaro. You won't be able to renege on it when the time comes. I don't think he would either. I saw a dark blue van come around the corner of the underground parking lot. Its tires squealed a lot. A little, sorry. It wasn't a Japanese car. It was a station wagon. Excuse me. Yes. It was a station wagon that looked a little like a sports car from some foreign manufacturer. I didn't know a lot about cars, but supposedly if you purchased it from a dealer, it could easily go for over 8 million yen. The reason I knew all this was because the car's owner had told me over and over again. I wonder who that owner was. The station wagon stopped in front of us, and there was a short bark from the horn. I'm starting to get an idea as who the car's owner actually is. Oh no, it's I thought it must have been Leskinen, but it's Associate Professor Izaki. He's apparently driving that car. While I was eating with Dr. Leskinen and Maho, he called me about something else. When I told him I was having dinner with the two of them, he'd offered to drive us home. Sorry, I just turned off my microphone again, so you didn't hear me yawn a second time. Dr. Leskinen had tried to refuse, but Izaki had insisted so much that he had no choice but to accept. This being the professor that Rintaro is actually trying to impress. He had a pretty nice car for an associate professor. This was the cause of a lot of speculation around the college. Some people said his family was rich, and that others that he had the wife of some CEO as a patron. He once quietly told me the truth, that he was single and that he spent all his money on the car. But who even knew if that was true? That is a very good question, but that is a very nice vehicle. Izaki was acting like he was a professional chauffeur, opening the rear door and escorting Dr. Leskinen and Maho. Dr. Leskinen thanked him and got inside. Maho went around to the back to load her luggage. Hopefully the boot should be sizable depending on how much luggage Maho actually has.
ちゃっかりレスキネン教授に気に入られてるなんてなかなか抜け目ないなこの
Looks like we've scored some points with Professor Izaki. He grinned and poked me with his elbow.
このコネは手放しちゃいけないぜ君の将来のためにね
I think Rintaro would like to keep this connection as long as possible, as it's his main end to Victochondria.
はあ
He was a hard guy to hate, but for an associate professor he seemed kind of shallow. It was one of the unfortunate things about him. He waved to me and opened the driver's side door. What was that sound? That was definitely a clicking sound. About the same time I heard the strange sound, a hole appeared in the window on the front passenger side. Someone is definitely shooting at us, although something... Izaki screamed and fell on his butt. Someone is definitely shooting at us. The rear window exploded. But that doesn't sound like a real gun. Or if it is, it's no weapon I've ever heard of. But someone is definitely after us. I panicked. Was this some kind of supernatural phenomenon? I was too confused to move. And then in the corner of my vision, I saw someone. A man I didn't know appeared out of the shadow of one of the pillars. He does appear to be holding a gun of some kind. He was holding something strange in his hand. It looked kind of like a handgun. It was tiny with a short barrel and kind of flat. I couldn't see any kind of silencer, and yet it was strangely quiet for a handgun. It had some sort of projectile. I remembered him from somewhere. I felt like we'd met before. Well, I personally haven't seen him, but apparently Rintaro has. But where? I thought, but nothing came to mind immediately. The man was standing there, mumbling something to himself. Could he be
つまずき
mumbling?
を与えるこの世は忌まわしい。もちろんつまずきが起きることは避けられないが、つまずきをもたらすものこそが忌まわしい。
Road to the world, eh? Kind of strange, strange words coming from our would-be assailant.
お前の手か足の一つにお前をつまずかせるなら、それを切って捨てるがいい。
Seems to be some sort of weird
両
fanatic
手
or
両足
something.
揃っていて永遠の火に投げ入れられるよりも、それはお前にとって間違いなく幸せなのだから。
Yeah, this man is definitely fanatical.
もしお前の片方の目がお前をつまずかせるなら、それをえぐり出して捨ててしまうがいい。たとえ片目であろうとも、陰の無の谷の炎に投げ入れられるよりずっと幸いに違いないんだ。
Valley of Hinnom, eh? Let me just bring up the tips. The Valley of Hinnom is the name of a valley in eastern Israel, on the south side of the old city district of Jerusalem. The valley was once where impure garbage and executed prisoners were disposed of, and it was always filled with fires, black smoke, and a horrible stench. It was also where human sacrifices were offered to Moloch, and so people feared and so was feared and avoided by the people. The sight of this valley, constantly linked with unholy fires, became linked in people's minds with the idea of hell. Later, Gehenna would become a symbol of hell. The Hebrew root word was Gehinnom, which later became the Greek Gehenna, and later the English Gehenna with an H. This is why the flames that burn in hell are sometimes known as the flames of Gehenna. Oh good, he's one of those people. That is fantastic. There was an aura of intensity and madness about the man as he pointed his quote-unquote gun at us.
神の与えし魂と神の子である我々にこそ宿る。決してシリコンの上には宿らない。
This is odd. Does this man have something against artificial intelligence? Could this man be after us because of Amadeus? Things just keep getting stranger and stranger, and Azaki is running away like a coward. Izaki stood up, turned around, and fled in terror like a startled rabbit. That sound again. It was so soft and light. I couldn't even imagine that it was a gunshot. But this time, the car's windows didn't break. And it didn't blow a hole in me either. It missed? Was he too focused on Izaki? But you won't be that lucky again. Move, and Maho appears to have lost her composure in this situation, not that I blame her entirely. But we have to do something. I pushed Maho into the back seat and crawled into the driver's side. Thankfully the engine was still running. I hate to do this to you, Izaki, but you're not here to stop us, and we actually need to save our skins. I slammed down on the pedal without even bothering to shut the door. So to actually deal with our would-be assailant head-on, the sound of a powerful engine shook the underground air. The attacker flinched at the incredible noise of vibration. But the car didn't move forward. Oh, this is bad. It probably got the brake. It didn't move an inch.
Shift!
Yeah, it's a manual car. Or an automatic. Sorry. Leskinen and Maho were keeping their heads low in the back seat and shouting loud enough to be heard over the engine. I took my foot off the accelerator. I glanced over at the gear shift. It was stuck next to the end. So this is an automatic, not a manual. That's good. Unfortunately, Rintaro doesn't know how to drive an automatic car. I don't think Maho does. I don't think Rintaro does, Maho. Yeah, this was just a spur of the moment attempt to try and deal with our assailant. Although we've sort of shot ourselves with a foot. And then through the windshield I saw the attacker ready his gun. He was aiming at me. The look in his eyes told me he was ready to kill without hesitation.
魂はシリコンの上には宿らない。
A soul will not dwell within silicon, so he is talking about Amadeus. Crap. Cracks like a spider web appeared in the windshield, so he does have a real weapon. Something went past the side of my head. I felt a sharp pain, and at the same time a ringing in my ears. And all the other sounds faded away and started to disappear. I felt myself passing out. Looks like it's up to Maho. And then Maho jumped over the seat and slid to the passenger side. Yeah, that man has a real gun, although it's unlike any gun we've ever seen. My mind was pulled back to reality. I slammed the door shut, just as she told me. Maho shifted from neutral to drive and leaned over the top of me to grab the wheel. Looks like you're on the accelerator there, Rintaro. I slammed the accelerator so hard that for a moment the wheels were almost spinning in place. Then the car leapt forward. The attacker was getting closer. We were going to hit him. I was about to take my foot off the accelerator when Maho shouted. I gritted my teeth and did as she said. Let's see if we can't get this guy to give us some information. Or not, as it seems. But there was no impact. Evidently the attacker leapt away at the last second to avoid being crushed. But there was no time to confirm it as the car raced through the parking garage. We were going too fast, and since Maho was controlling the wheel from the the car from the passenger seat. She couldn't keep it in a straight line. Looks like we're gonna crash. Or spin around in circles. The car spun to the left and the right, and I was almost flung out the broken window. I grabbed onto the edge of the seat as hard as I could. We headed for the exit, slamming into walls and pillars as we went. Well, looks like our attempt backfired there. Yeah, we need to get out of here. I can see an exit sign right in front of us. This isn't good. I pressed the brake and put my hand on top of Maho's, turning the wheel to the right. But that was the wrong thing to do. The rear tires slipped. The car spun in a circle. That is completely ungood. So we completely missed the exit and did now run to the wall. And then it came to a stop. We're still in the parking garage, and our would-be assailant is still there. We're okay, but we're not out of this just yet. Speaking of Leskinen, how's he doing? I looked back and saw Dr. Leskinen lying face up on the seat, giving me a thumbs up, so he's slightly protected. Time for Maho to drive, as I'm certain, since she's 21 years old, that she would have a driver's license. I quickly put my hand on the door and got ready to get out of the driver's seat. Then I saw an old, creaky sedan rambling towards us and shivered. Looks like our assailant has a vehicle also. That's not good. It was the man from a moment ago. He was following us and moving really, really fast. Looks like he's going to crash into us. Apologies for the car, Assistant Professor Azaki, but that's also not good. Maho's door is stuck. Had it broken when we slammed into the wall? I grabbed Maho out of the passenger side and rolled outside. Dr. Leskinen rolled out the rear door. Good thing he can take care of himself. Good thing too. It was less than a second afterward that the sedan hit. If we'd been just a little too slow, we would have been turned into mincemeat. Well, at least the three of us seem to be okay. As for the assailant, I stood up and offered Maho a hand, then moved away from the unrecognizable wreck that used to be a car. I think we're... yeah. The very bare bones kind of okay, but okay nonetheless. Both cars were smashed together, and our mystery assailant is the one who took the brunt of the damage. The attacker sedan was completely embedded in the rear half of the car we've been driving. There was no way he could have survived. There were no tire marks on the ground, which meant he slammed into us without braking. I shivered. I'd almost been killed. We had almost been killed, Rintaro. That's probably a good idea. I was about to pull out my smartphone when the security guards heard the commotion and came running. Yeah, The security guard nodded and contacted the police. Well, that's one less lunatic to worry about, I suppose. It appears the, yeah, those projectiles that the man was firing from his gun were definitely real, and they could have dealt some, very serious damage. I could feel a pulsing ache on the side of my head. A shot from the gun had grazed me. I hadn't felt that pain at all while I was driving. I fearfully reached up to touch it and felt blood flowing from my temple down my face. I gulped when I saw that my fingertips had turned bright red. Yeah, you're definitely bleeding from the temple, Rintaro. I almost saw Mayuri when she was shot in the head. More gruesome flashbacks. I almost saw Kurisu when I'd kill her. Yeah, the sight of blood is more than enough to trigger Rintaro's anxiety. The images felt like they were about to come flashing back, and I struggled to stay standing. Yeah, I would definitely say we got hit, Maho. Maho went pale.
ここってまずい場所だったりするのか。
そこには線側頭動脈っていうのがあって。
The superficial temporal artery. We're about to see the definition. An artery located at the terminal branch of the external carotid artery. It travels from the neck to the head, between the temples and the ears. It supplies blood to the skin, ears, and jaw joints.
見せてごらん。少し触るよ。
And Leskinen is going to deal with our wound. Dr. Leskinen looked at the wound. I don't think it's too serious, but when he touched me I felt more pain, but I gritted my teeth to endure it.
大丈夫。傷はそんなに深くない。
Yeah, all things considered, it could have been a lot worse, Rintaro.
よかった。
And Maho seems
これを
relieved.
使いなさい。
すみません。
Thank you very much, Leskinen. I put the handkerchief he offered up to my temple.
襲ってきた人。セミナーにいた人だわ。
Wait a minute. Which one at the
本当か？
seminar?
覚えてない？あなたが異議を出した相手よ。
Wait a minute. The guy that we yelled at for criticizing Kurusu Makase's theories, but he was normal at the he was normal during the seminar, during when he was criticizing Amadeus and Kurusu, but here it seemed like he was a completely different person. Something truly bizarre is happening. That's right. It sounded like he was insulting Kurusu, so I shouted objection at him. That was the guy. Was this his way of getting back at me? Something tells me that there's more to his behavior than just revenge. Not a chance.
神の与えし魂とは神の子である我々にこそ宿る。決してシリコンの上には宿らない。
Either, well, the only real conclusion I can come up with is that he was somehow hypnotized or brainwashed or something. But by who?
何？
Who Who would have any reason to get rid of Amadeus?
銃を撃つ前に言ってたんだ。
アマデウスのことかしら。
The soul should never reside within Silicon.
さ
I'm pretty sure that he was. Although we can't truly say for certain until we get some actual proof, and we're not going to get it from a corpse. I could faintly hear I could faintly hear police sirens in the distance. The hotel security guards and staff were starting to gather.
なあ、この状況どう説明したらいいんだ。
ありのまま言うしかないわ。私たちだって何が何だか。
Yeah, he came out of nowhere and crashed into us. And then Maho's eyes went wide. She, Dr. Leskinen, and the crowd were all staring at a single point. I looked too, and almost screamed.
つまずきを与えるようがもたらすものが忌まわしい。
Now that is truly terrifying. The man is still alive. The man crawled out from the wreckage of the sedan, covered in blood. And then he staggered to his feet. He looked like a zombie. All his limbs except the one holding the gun were pointed off in impossible directions, and I could see what looked like bones sticking out from them. His stomach was torn open, and each time he crawled forward I could see major organs, covered in blood, falling out of the hole. But he moved towards us as if he felt no pain at all. It was such an awful sight that no one could speak. The man unsteadily aimed his gun towards Dr. Leskinen. He must have been on the verge of death, because his arm was flailing around too much to aim. But Dr. Leskinen's expression was pure terror, and he seemed unable to move.
もう賊魂
I think whoever is trying to kill us is definitely under some kind of brainwashing. A shot rang out. Fresh blood sprayed out of the man's head, and his body blown away as if it had been hit by a truck. He fell to the ground, still clutching his gun. He tried to crawl forward anyway, but soon twitched and stopped moving. The crowd began to scream. That was truly a horrific sight, but did one of the security guards? The attacker been shot? Did he shoot himself, or was it the police or the security guards? No, that gunshot was clearly different than the last ones. Who just fired? I looked around. Things are really starting to get real here, adventurers. I can see several policemen coming from the entrance, but none of them had their guns drawn, so someone in the parking lot other than the security staff and the police officers had killed the man. And the crowd was nothing but security and hotel staff, and I couldn't see any of them carrying a gun. And yet, mystery assailant was definitely shot by someone. So who had fired, and where had they fired from? The way they took the attacker's head off with a single shot. Not just anyone could do that, so we have another professional to deal with.
何が 起きてるんだよ。
This is truly disturbing at this point, adventurers. Of course, no one told me. Well, we survived one assassination attempt. Afterward, the police took us into custody. We were taken to the police station and questioned until late into the night. The sun was almost about to rise by the time we left. The police took me home in a patrol car. Dr. Leskinen were having the police take them back to their hotel in Wako, so we split up in front of the police station. I think it's very safe to say that Rintaro's nerves are probably on the verge of snapping at this point. We never did find out why the man had attacked us, nor why he was killed. Just truly disturbing. And now we're back with Suzuha and Akihabara. She felt dizzy. That's strange, Suzuha thought. She stopped moving. Since she was in the middle of the sidewalk, the other pedestrians looked irritated as they moved around her. She seems to be somewhat lost in thought. She took a deep breath and waited for a moment, but she still felt dizzy. Actually, she was finding it difficult to stand. Was she hallucinating, or was the whole world starting to get blurry? All the noise of the city around her suddenly felt far away. It was like she was diving underwater. Was this the reading Steiner ability that Uncle Ocarina had talked about? Was she starting to acquire it too? No, I think if you truly did have reading Steiner, the effect would be far different. And then she realized how warm she felt. The truth hit her.
具合悪いのか私
Apparently, Suzuha has a fever of sorts. She somehow managed to stagger back to the lab. It seemed that she was worse off than she thought. If she could have, she would have fallen to her knees right there. During the war and afterwards, when she joined up with her dad's organization, she'd been hurt badly enough to go into a coma several times. But this was the first time something like this had happened to her since she became a time traveler.
まずいな
By the way, Suzuha's mountain bike is outside of the lab, although I wonder if it belongs to the beta Suzuha. She looked up to the second floor. The lights were on. She felt honestly relieved to know that her dad was there. She walked up the stairs. Probably should rest for a bit. The door was unlocked. She didn't have the energy to speak, so she tried to silently take off her shoes, and then she tripped. Looks like she's definitely feeling worse for wear. And that was unfortunate. She fell forward.
Suzuha!
Don't worry, Daru, we're alright. Daru was in the next room. He saw her and ran over.
大丈夫か
You could say that. She rubbed her knee and tried to stand up, but staggered again and fell into Daru's arms.
どうしたん
Looks like Suzuha has a fever of some
ご
sort.
めんちょっとめまいがね
Probably a good idea to lie down on the sofa.
すずさん体調悪いの
And Mayuri and Yuki are both here.
平気ですか？
Actually, I would say that Suzuha was alright. When she heard those voices, Suzuha finally realized that Yuki and Mayuri were also in the room. She'd let her guard down, she realized. Yuki seemed unconcerned by Suzuha's obvious unease. She walked over with a serious expression on her face. Well, I suppose that this can be rather awkward for Suzuha, given the fact that Yuki Amane is actually her future mother.
鈴葉さん、おでこを貸してください。
She seems very determined to look after Suzuha. Yuki brushed her bangs aside and put her own forehead up against Suzuha's. I don't think that's how you check someone's temperature, by the way, Yuki. Suzuha's heart started pounding. She had distant memories of her mother doing this before.
ひどい熱、大変だわ。
I would say that Suzuha does have a terrible fever, given the fact that she almost collapsed on the street. Daru put his big hand up to Suzuha's cheek as well.
お、本当だ。
Yeah, she's definitely burning up.
風邪かな？平気。
Strange time to get a
こんな
cold.
のすぐに治るから。
I suppose anything's possible.
無理すんなって。今すぐ横になるべきだろ、上皇。
Duh, an expression used to indicate that something is obvious or self-evident. Its use can be traced back to at least 200 years. That's, an interesting bit of trivia. Well, I believe, this is going to be it for this episode of, Let's Play Steins Gate 0, and, when we return, hopefully Suzuha can recover enough to get over her fever, and because she actually has more important things to be concerned with, like the fact that a mystery intruder has overheard her and Fabris talking about the time machine and then managed to get away unchecked. As always, adventurers, until next we meet,